today your pontoon manager. It's best to arrive between 8:30 and 9 and sign in at the registration desk. Report to the sailing day coordinator and put on the pontoon manager's yellow vest, which you'll find in the small life jacket bin. Your first responsibility is launching the dinghies. The pontoons manager is a pivotal role because you're the interface between the on-the-water and onshore activities. Safe and smooth operations on the water is your responsibility. It's also one of the most rewarding roles, as you'll be helping sailors embark on their sailing experiences, some of them for the first time, and greeting them when they get back, usually with great big smiles. When you get the hoist to the pontoon, make sure they're installed in the right bases, that is, white to white. Next to go down will be the keel caddies with keels and rudders, 3 in each. Only take down as many as you'll need and ensure the difference between 303 and 203 keels and rudders are identified. Once unloaded, all spare trolleys and keel caddies must be removed from this limited space and stowed at the top of the pontoon by the full fuel locker. If windy, lay them down. You'll be allocated a team of volunteers with varying experience to help, so you'll need to take a leadership and training approach. When the rig dinghies start arriving on the pontoon, slide them off the trolley and have it taken back immediately for the next. Attach the rudder boxes, ensuring the pins are fully inserted and the arms attached to the steering correctly. Test with the joystick. Check also for paddle, bailer and keel rod in each boat. Always stern first, carefully slide the boat over the steps and gently but firmly insert the rudder in the rudder box with the round edge leading. Push down and slip the shock cord over the top. Make sure someone's holding the painter as the dinghy is carefully slipped into the water and walked around the end of the pontoon. Tie fore and aft, head to wind, beside one of the hoists so that the keels can be inserted. By now you should have several helpers. Ask one to sit in the boat and another to operate the hoist. Show them how to attach the hoist to the keel, to swing it over the boat to a point above the centre, with the person in the boat holding the boom to one side and guiding the keel into its house with the higher edge leading. The hoist operator will lower it quickly into position, and when fully inserted, the person in the dinghy will insert the keel rod. This goes through the top to secure it in place. The hoist attachment will then be detached so the rope can be fully retrieved. Once ready, unless the person in the boat is going to take someone sailing, have them get out and move the boat up the pontoon so others can be launched successfully. Once all the boats being used that day are bobbing safely alongside, make sure all impediments and extra people leave the area. You will need the throw line, a chair without arms, a boat hook, a spare sling. Send someone to get them. The big part of this role is assisting sailors into and out of boats in whatever way is appropriate to them, with the help of carers and volunteers. You should be familiar and experienced in the fitting of the slings and hoisting procedures. Ensure this is done in a dignified way, with the comfort and safety of the sailor paramount at all times. Make sure both the hoist rope and the descent arrestor are attached at all times. And have a volunteer or carer take wheelchairs and walking frames to the top of the ramp and park opposite with their brakes on. Ensure both skipper and sailor do not get on the boat without a correctly fitting life jacket and that it is done up. If not, feel free to send them back and miss their turn. This is a physically demanding role, so you ensure that you have a water bottle handy, a hat and sunscreen, and if you need to take a break or want to go for a sail, pass the jacket to a competent backup or ask the sailing day coordinator to appoint one. Please Do not leave the pontoon unattended. Part of your responsibility is allocating skippers to boats and checking they're comfortable. This includes asking if they need a break or suggesting that they take one. Allocate sailors to skippers and boats using common sense and sensitivity, i.e. best not to have two people who both need hoisting for safety purposes. Some sailors have favourite skippers. Try to accommodate them. The chair on the pontoon is there for you, and so that some sailors can sit on a sling and be hoisted aboard. This chair is not for spectators. Only those who need to be on the pontoon or ramp should be there. Some sailors don't need to be hoisted. These people should sit on the deck, slide their feet into the dinghy, and then follow it quickly with their bottom, keeping fingers away from the side so that they don't get squashed. Assist skippers to make a smooth departure from the pontoon and a controlled return. If boats depart from the inside, it's advisable to take the painter and pull them around the end of the pontoon into more open water and steady breeze. Throw the rope back inside the cockpit under the jib sheet. When skippers return, tie them securely fore and aft so that sailors can safely disembark. Gather feedback from skippers about weather conditions and decide when and which boats to reef. Keep the sailing day coordinator as informed. If reefing is needed, skippers who don't know how to reef shouldn't be sailing. Familiarise yourself with this procedure beforehand, if possible. Don't be a hero. All boats are insured and won't capsize. If boats run aground, suggest the skipper lifts the keel in the way they've been instructed. If they can't, throw them the fender end of the throw line tied to the ramp. Have them wrap the rope around the keel handle and hang on to the end. With keel pin in, have people help pull the boat over sideways and drag them into deeper water. Allocate berthing space to the safety boat, helping it moor and take on passengers if appropriate. It should never be moored for more than a few minutes if boats are sailing. Strongly encourage its speedy departure. While it's on the pontoon, your boats are out on the water unattended. Have people get on quickly, sit down, and have correctly fitting life jackets worn at all times. Don't sit on the back of the boat. And if you don't have a life jacket when you get on, get one out of the life jacket bin on the safety boat, which is on the front port side. Make sure that the life jacket is worn correctly, preferably not inside out. The sailing day coordinator will let you know when to start taking boats out of the water. Returning skippers should be encouraged to help with this process. Ask them to stay in the boat and slip the hoist rope through the top of the keel so it can be carefully hoisted out into the keel caddy, while keeping the boom out of the way so that sails are not damaged. Oh, and try not to get them wet. If the skipper can't reach to remove the rudder, do it when the stern is hanging over the edge of the steps. Take care not to slip in. It's your responsibility to supervise the quick and careful removal of all the fleet. Don't try and do this on your own. Have someone on each side of the boat. Once out of the water, Rudder boxes are removed and put on the seat. The trolley will be constantly returning to the pontoon to pick up boats and deliver them to the de-rigging and washdown area under the supervision of the boat operations manager. To put the boats onto the trolley, again, have one person each side. To load boats onto the trolley, have the trolley operator slide the trolley under the raised hull of the dinghy. When it's halfway on, push the front of the trolley down and let centrifugal force do the rest of the work. Take a couple of wraps around the handle of the trolley with the painter so that the boat won't slide off when you're dragging it up the ramp. When all boats are out of the water and off the pontoon, remove the hoists and keel caddies, which should have 3 keels and rudders in each. These can be wheeled to the top deck area where the boat operations manager will supervise their stowing when all boats are in the racks. Check there's nothing left on the pontoon and your job is done. Grab a sausage and a cup of tea, you deserve it. If you have any useful feedback, observations or suggestions, please write it in the booking book, the one with the brown cover on the registration desk. Your contribution has been key to the smooth and safe running of the sailing day, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you.